He is the father of modern physics. He was born in Ulm, Kingdom of Württemberg, German Empire on March 14, 1879. His father's name was Hermann Einstein, and mother's name was Pauline Koch. He was born into a Jewish family. His father was a scientific utility salesman, electrician, and mother was a housekeeper. In 1880, the family moved to Munich. In 1894, when Einstein was 15, and his family moved to Italy, first to Milan, and a few months later to Pavia. Albert attended a Catholic elementary school in Munich from the age of 5 for 3 years. At the age of 8, he was transferred to the Luitpold Gymnasium, where he received advanced primary and secondary school education. The 12-year-old Einstein taught himself algebra and Euclidean geometry. After graduation, Einstein spent 2 years in search of a teaching job, but didn't find. Finally, he got a job of assistant examiner at the Federal Office for Intellectual Property at the Patent Office. Einstein and Mileva married in January 1903. They had 3 children, Liesl Einstein, Hans Albert Einstein, and Edward Einstein. In 1905, he completed his thesis, which was entitled A New Determination of Molecular Dimensions. For the work, he was awarded a Ph.D. by the University of Zurich. In 1905, he came up with his revolutionary works, which were focused on photoelectric effect, Brownian motion, the special theory of relativity and the equivalence of matter and energy. In 1905, he published his 4 groundbreaking papers. The papers provided information on the photoelectric effect, Brownian motion, special relativity, and the equivalence of matter and energy. These papers brought Einstein to the limelight, and he became instantly famous and was recognized as the leading scientist. In 1908, he was appointed as a lecturer at the University of Bern. However, Einstein quit this position as well as the one he was holding at the Patent Office to take up the profile of physics docent at the University of Zurich. In 1911, he became a full-time professor at the Karl Ferdinand University in Prague. Einstein separated from his wife Mileva in 1914. In 1916, Einstein was appointed as the president of the German Physical Society that he held for 2 years. During this time, Einstein also attained membership of the Prussian Academy of Sciences. Their divorce was final on 14 February 1919. He married Elsa Lowenthal in 2 June 1919. He invited officially by the mayor of New York on April 2, 1921, and delivered several lectures at the Columbia and Princeton University. Then he moved to Washington, D.C. After that, he visited many countries, including Singapore, Ceylon, Japan, America, Belgium, to serve his lecture. Suddenly a new law had been set in Germany, according to which Jews could not hold any official positions, including teaching at the universities. Not only was Einstein's work targeted, he himself was on the list of assassination targets of the Nazis, with a $5,000 bounty on his head. Einstein found his temporary shelter in England. Then he made the decision to permanently stay in the United States and thus applied for citizenship. Einstein gained a permanent citizenship in the United States in the year 1940. Einstein in his later years was even offered the position of President of Israel but he declined the same, stating that he had neither the aptitude nor the experience. In 1921, he received the Nobel Prize in Physics. In 1929, Einstein was presented with the Max Planck Medal of the German Physical Society in Berlin. The chemical element instantanium was named for him. He died at Princeton, New Jersey, United States on 18 April 1955 at the age of 76. Michael Jackson. He is the king of pop. He was born on August 29, 1958, in Gary, Indiana, United States. His father's name was Joseph Jackson, and mother's name was Catherine Jackson. He was born in an African-American working-class family. He was 8th of the 10 children of his parents. His father worked as a steel mill worker, and mother was a sincere Jehovah's Witness. The Jacksons were fairly poor and lived in a small house with just 2 bedrooms for them. From a very young age, he was a music lover. His 3 older brothers formed a band called the Jackson Brothers. Michael and his brother Marlon joined the band in 1964. At just 8 years old, Michael began to sing lead vocals along with his older brother Jermaine. After they changed the name of the band to the Jackson 5 and began playing all around town. Then they began touring the Midwest, where they played in bars and clubs. As the lead singer, Michael was becoming very famous. He couldn't go to school because he would be mobbed by fans, so he was taught by private tutors in between rehearsals and concerts. He didn't get to play with other kids his age. While still singing with the Jackson 5, Michael had a number of solo albums. At first his solo career didn't take off, but he did have a few hit songs, including Ben and Got to Be There. In 1978, Michael met music producer Quincy Jones while working on the set of the movie The Wiz. He broke away from the family band and worked on his first grown-up album. In 1979, Michael released the album Off the Wall. It was a huge hit and had 4 top 10 songs, including the #1 singles, Rock With You and Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. He worked with Quincy Jones again, and in late 1982, released the album Thriller, which had 7 top 10 singles and won 8 Grammy Awards, which became the best-selling album of all time. He released several more successful albums including Bad, Dangerous, Invincible, etc. Michael was married twice. His first marriage was to Lisa Marie Presley in May 26, 1994, at the age of 34. But they divorced in 1996. His second marriage was to a nursing assistant named Debbie Rowe in November 14, 1996. The couple was blessed with 2 children, Michael Joseph Jackson Jr. and Paris Michael Catherine Jackson. The two separated in 1999. He had a 3rd child, Prince Michael Jackson II, from a surrogate mother through artificial insemination. Michael died of a heart attack on June 25, 2009. Then he was 50 years old. The heart attack was likely caused by drugs which he was taking to help him sleep. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself then make the change," said Michael Jackson.
B.J. Habibie, in full, Baharudin Yusuf Habibie, born on June 25th, 1936 in Parepare, Indonesia, and died on September 11th, 2019 in Jakarta. Indonesian aircraft engineer and politician who was President of Indonesia from 1998 till 1999, and a leader in the country's technological and economic development in the late 20th and early 21st centuries. Brilliant in science and mathematics from childhood, Habibie received his post-secondary education at the Bandung Institute of Technology in Bandung, Indonesia, and further he studied at the Institute of Technology of North Rhine-Westphalia in ancient West Germany. After graduating in 1960, he remained in West Germany as an aeronautics researcher and production supervisor. Suharto took power as Indonesia's second president in 1966, and in 1974, he asked Habibie, whom he had known for 25 years, to return to the country to help build advanced industry. Suharto assured him that he could do whatever was needed to accomplish that goal. Initially assigned to the state oil company Pertamina, Habibie became a government advisor and chief of a new aerospace company in 1976. 2 years later, he became research minister and head of the Agency for Technology Evaluation and Application. In these roles, he oversaw a number of ventures involving the production and transportation of heavy machinery, steel, electronics, and telecommunications equipment, and arms and ammunition. Habibie believed his enterprises ultimately would spawn high-tech ventures in the private sector and allow the country to climb the technology ladder. In 1993, he unveiled the first Indonesian-developed plane, which he helped design, and in the following year, he launched a plan to refurbish more than 3,000 vessels bought from the former East Germany Navy at his initiative. The finance ministry balked at the cost of the better endeavor, while the armed forces thought that its staff had been violated. Nevertheless, Habibie got more than $400 million for refurbishing. Meanwhile, in 1990, Habibie was appointed head of the Indonesian Muslim Intellectuals Association, and during the 1993 Central Board elections of the country's ruling party, Golkar, Habibie helped the children and allies of President Suharto rise to top positions, easing out long-standing military-backed power brokers. By the late 1990s, Habibie was viewed as one of several possible successors to the aging Suharto. In March 1998, Suharto appointed Habibie to the vice presidency, and 2 months later, in the wake of large-scale violence in Jakarta, Suharto announced his resignation. Thrust unexpectedly into the country's top position, Habibie immediately began to implement major reforms. He appointed a new cabinet, fired Suharto's eldest daughter as Social Affairs Minister, as well as longtime friend as Trade and Industry Minister. Name a committee to draft less restrictive political laws. Allowed the free press, arranged for free parliamentary and presidential elections the following year, and agreed to presidential term limit to 5-year terms. He also granted amnesty to more than 100 political prisoners.